On. Welcome to the IDP Guys Start Sit Show. I am Grant. I'm filling in for your host, Nathan. So we're going to just start off by some introductions with the other two guys right here. Keith, we'll start with you.
Well, Grant, of course, you know me because you're my son. I'm one of the co-owners of IDP Guys, and I'm honored to be on here with you two young whippersnappers. I'm glad that you both could get up early enough and get on here today. I know that you're both dedicated to what you do, and I'm excited to talk about start and sit with you guys.
Logan?
Yeah, I'm Logan. I do the rankings for IDP, and you can find me at Sports Talk Smart on Twitter. But yeah, I'm excited to see Keith for the first time and get to see some of his opinions and pick his brain here. And we're here to answer your questions and help you out.
Awesome. Well, we know this week's a big week for injuries and buys. So what are your surprise sits or surprise starts?
Keith, you got any? You want to go ahead?
Well, I kind of have a sleeper. You know that Baltimore had all those running backs that got hurt, right? So, and the easy pick would be Devontae Freeman, right? For some reason, and I picked him up in two of my leagues. I picked up Le'Veon Bell. Just watching him last week with this line, his patience with the way they block, and he can also catch out of the backfield. I actually look for him to surpass Freeman or at least even Freeman in week 7.
Okay. Yeah, I would be one of the people that think Freeman would probably be the lead. So I'm excited to watch the Bengals and Ravens. That's just going to be such a great game to watch. But one of the big things I am actually curious about is how well Patterson, how well they keep using him through the bye week, if that keeps up, if he continues to be a top 5, top 10 weekly option. So, and then I'm actually excited. I saw something, I'm pretty sure, you see this stuff, but we saw that they want to give Miles Sanders the ball more, and he's got a good matchup against the Raiders. And I really want to see him succeed. He's such a great talent, and they just don't use him, and it drives everyone crazy, I know.
So through the first few weeks, we've seen Patterson's value just go up. Do you think it just keeps going up from here?
I mean, he's already like a top 5 option, top 10 option. I don't know if it can go up more. I mean, he's not going to pass Derrick Henry, but he has a top 5 option, top 10 option for me.
I agree with you, Logan. Yeah, I don't know that he can get any higher. What you hope is that he maintains. The beauty part about him is that he's getting to carry the ball from the backfield and receiving yards. So he's a dual threat. Great matchup this week for him. They play Miami. So coming off a bye week, he should be well rested. Look for him to have a big day.
All right, we got a couple questions from Malcolm Merriweather here. The first one is, pick one, Darius Slayton, Callaway, or Myers?
Jacoby Myers for me.
Yeah. Let me. And I have cheat sheets, so I really do my homework. So let me just look on my cheat sheet for 1 second. Read those to me one more time, Grant.
Darius Slayton, Callaway, or Myers?
Well, let's see. Slayton's going to be the guy who could be the main receiver today because they have so many daggone injuries in Giant Land. I think I'd have to go with the New England receiver, but Slayton could be a sneaky play.
All right. He's back with the second question, and it's dropped to Hasty, Marlon Mack, or McKinnon?
Oh, you mean Marlon Mack?
Yeah. Yep.
I'll go first on this one. So Hasty just got brought up from IR. Another nice little sneaky play. But do you think that he's going to get to be that receiving back coming out, or are they still going to just let him sit there and let Sermon come in? Out of those three, Marlon Mack, I think they might be waiting on Marlon Mack. There could be a trade coming for Marlon Mack. I'm crossing my fingers there is, because I have him on. I stashed him away. I think I'd take Hasty today. How about you guys?
Oh, if you were playing one, I'd play Hasty. So
well,
drop
this
it.
is drop
Right,
two.
drop
You got
two
to
of them.
drop two.
I'm dropping
Oh, I'm
McKinnon for
sorry.
sure. You're good.
I'm
You're
sorry.
Good. I'm dropping McKinnon for sure there, probably. Just like they didn't really even use him much with Clyde out and watching the Chiefs games. I just don't think they'll incorporate him a ton. And Clyde should be back in a week or two. So Marlon Mack is a good hold, like you said, a good stash. But if you're in a league right now and Hasty, I think Hasty is going to resume that third down role because Sermon got out snapped by a fullback when he was the only healthy running back. So he just scares me. I think they'll use Mitchell all the time, and then Hasty might resume that. I think Hasty should resume that third down role. So if I'd have to not drop. I don't know. That's a tough one between Hasty and Marlon Mack. I'd probably hold on to Hasty and because Marlon Mack's behind is buried for now. So
right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna hold out for Marlon Mack because Jeffrey Wilson's gonna be coming back off of IR. That backfield is gonna be so. Unless you need him for this week, I'm hanging on to Marlon Mack until after the trade deadline because there's so many teams that need a running back. The Colts have 3, and they could get some picks or something out of Marlon Mack. I'm gonna take my chances on Marlon Mack for a couple more weeks.
All right. Well, Malcolm has come back with a third question. It's a QB question. Matt Ryan or Joey Burrow?
I've got Burrow 2 spots higher this week. Both of them are at 9 and 11. We're missing a lot of top talent quarterbacks with Herbert and Allen and who's the other one? Sorry, I'm blanking. But Dak, that's 3 guys that are usually in your top like 6 or 7. So those guys moved up. But Burrow's 9 for me and Matt Ryan's 11.
I have it just opposite of that. I still have them close. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. I'm gonna go Matt Ryan against the Dolphins defense.
Well, here's another thing we should probably consider. Correct. This will be a test for the Bengals' offensive line coming in against the Ravens with their first AFC North matchup. Well, not their first. They played the Steelers, but Steelers were injured.
That concerns me, Grant. And again, so I'm looking at defenses. I would rather go up against the Miami defense right now versus that Baltimore defense.
Yeah, I think Ryan should do all right. I just have it Burrow a little bit higher because I think that game could turn into a shootout, and he's got Chase and Higgins, so I believe he can keep up passing the ball. But I've got him there because of volume. He's got a tough matchup, though. I agree.
So, are there any other quarterbacks right now that are playing today that should probably start that probably wouldn't start any other week, but since this is a heavy bye week, that should probably get the start?
I'm starting Tua in a league, which I don't love that, but he's got to be. You probably got to start him this week. If you're in a tough spot, he's startable.
Yeah, I agree with you, Logan. I think Tua's a start today. And he might have a little chip on his shoulder with all that Watson talk, and he's got something to prove. And I tell you what, he looked pretty daggone good in London. Another one, and again, I know people sometimes have to start him, but Jalen Hurts, I think, has a great matchup against the Raiders this week.
Awesome. We have another question from Chase Benjamin. In a tackle-heavy league, which 3 should I start out of Amani Hooker, Kevin Byard, Chuck Clark, Marcus May, and DJ Reed?
Okay, so I've got Chuck Clark in my top 10 this week. I think, like I said earlier, Burrow's going to have to pass a lot, and Chuck Clark's going to be busy in the secondary. And then Kevin Byard is a week-in, week-out start for me. He's just so good, and he's all over the field all the time. And then I love Marcus May, but with him coming back, I just don't know if he's going to be, the same guy this week. So, and then Hooker's also on the Titans with Byard, so I don't love starting both of them. So I think I'd go ahead and go May there.
Yep, I agree 100% with you, Logan. And actually, Hooker is somebody that I just picked up and just the same thing, just kind of letting him sit there for a second and see what's going to happen. But I think he's a great pickup for right now. But yeah, I really like the safety from Baltimore today.
So we've talked quite a bit about offensive players in the first 10 minutes of this podcast. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball. Are there any players that are really going to stand out this week just because of a matchup they have?
Well, my biggest one was, and he already played, was Thursday night, and I actually thought he would go off a little bigger. I thought Myles Garrett would just go off the deep end. I mean, he still got you a sack and a half, and probably more. There was a lot of holding going on in that game. He probably would have got you a couple more, but he is a beast. The guy that I'm looking to step up, Grant, is Chase Young. It's just time for him to erupt. I think he's starting to hear the chirps in his ear, like, what's he doing, and is he and it's time for that whole Washington defense to step up, but in particular Chase Young as far as defensive ends go for me.
Yeah, I want to see how, as a Chiefs fan, I want to see how Thornhill fills in that role for Sorensen, because I think they're going to start. He's taking over that role. One person that I have been kind of disappointed in, not a ton, but I want to see Devon White take off more. He's been consistent, but I want to see him have some big games and maybe get a sack. I don't think he has any sacks on the year. Just I want to see him, make a big play or two and have a big defensive player game rather than just, he's safe and consistent. He's a top 5 option, but he's I want to see him just be the linebacker 1 for the week by just a pretty good margin. Yeah, he's the one that I really would. And I want to see how, like I said before, I want to see how Marcus May comes back, because he's a great IDP player, and he's been obviously injured. So I want to see how he comes back and plays this week.
So as a Chiefs fan, Logan, are you kind of scared to see Derrick Henry, or are you a little bit more worried about Tannehill with Brown and Julio?
As a Chiefs fan, I'm just worried about any time that our defense is on the field in general, for the most part. Yeah, I tweeted this week actually earlier. I think it was some it's going to make me sick to my stomach watching Derrick Henry break the NFL rushing record this week against the Chiefs. So, yeah, we stopped him last year. It's not the same team, or was it 2 years ago? We stopped him 19 for 69. That's obviously a great defensive game against Henry, but I don't think that's going to happen today. I'm kind of worried. AJ Brown will probably have a good game as long as they target him like they did in the second half of last week. I don't think we won't be able to stop him too easy. So yeah, I'm worried, but I think Mahomes should be able to battle, and he'll light it up as well. I think we're in for a Derrick Henry Mahomes shootout, to be honest.
So speaking of the Chiefs, Logan, one guy I'm really concerned with that I've had on my dynasty roster forever is Frank Clark. It's like, Frank, where are you? It has the Frank Clark ship sailed.
I'm not a big fan of him. Not as a player kind of, but as a fantasy player mostly. I don't think he's gonna continue. I think he's on the downward. I think he's on the downward for sure. One person I do like, and me and you were talking before the show, is about Rolla and Missouri S&T. I was actually friends with the guy. I went to school there, and Tershawn Wharton. He had a great athletic interception last week where he pinned it. He jumped up one-handed and pinned it down against the lineman, and I just love watching him. He's just a great athlete. He's raw for sure, but I love having him on the Chiefs. It's awesome to watch.
So another guy I look to step up and have some big numbers from the Chiefs guys is the rookie linebacker Bolton. I look for him. I picked him up early in the season, just thinking at some point they're going to finally settle in on the linebacker position, and I think it's his to take. And today he's going to get plenty of Henry running right at him. He's not going to run away from him.
Yeah. Are there any other matchups that you guys are interested in watching?
Well, not that it's going to be a great matchup. I'm excited to see the Arizona Cardinals play. I want to see how they incorporate Zach Ertz into this. Their defense has been amazing. They're one of my top defensive teams to pick this week. against that Houston. I can't even describe a word how bad they are right now. But they are my top pick for team defense. And probably the worst is well, I got two. I hate to say it, but yeah, I think your Kansas City Chiefs could be in trouble, and it's going to be a shootout. I mean, I'm sure Tennessee's just going to try to slow that game down with Henry, but Kansas City needs to come up with at least one turnover just to flip that game around. And of course, Houston's going to have a tough time against Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know if you could say giving Henry the ball is going to slow it down. I think he's just going to run through us, you know. I'm worried about the game for sure today. But one that I am kind of excited, I want to see how Zach Wilson does against the Patriots on his second chance here, because we know this first time through he did awful, just terrible. So
yeah, I'm just scanning. I'm scanning. Actually, the other one is I want to see the Cincinnati-Baltimore game. I want to see if Cincinnati is for real. They haven't really played anyone. I mean, they hung with the Packers, and the Packers are for real. They played a Steelers team that it's not the Steelers of old. It's they were hurt, but they're just not the same team. Defensively, they're decent. Offensively, until they can get that run game going, Ben is just a manager of the game anymore. He's a skeleton of himself. So for them to take that next step, they need to beat the Ravens today and to at least feel confident, at least not let Baltimore run them out of the stadium.
Yeah, so one thing I want to touch on real quick, Zach Ertz going to Arizona. His owner should be happy, right? Or is there just too many other guys on that team that it probably won't matter too much?
I think they were using Max Williams before he got hurt, so I think Ertz will have a solid role. And I mean, you're worrying about Goddard and him back in Philly, so I think he should have that role. Like, there's a lot of options, but Kyler was thrown to his tight end, so I like the move for Ertz and Goddard.
Yeah, I agree with you that anybody that had a Philly tight end's got to be in heaven today. They run so many offensive plays. It's hurry up, and Zach Ertz is just going to tear it up underneath. And Kyler Murray really has started to utilize the tight end, and their tight end got hurt, and great trade for Arizona and good for Ertz as well.
All right, Chase Benjamin is here with another question. Which three should I start? Alex Singleton, Fred Warner, Devondre Campbell, and Jordan Brooks. Pick three to start.
Okay, so I'm going to start Fred Warner for sure.
I agree.
Devondre Campbell's been playing out of his mind. I've got Jordan Brooks at 14 and Singleton at 15. But, Singleton's going to be I'll go Jordan. I've got Jordan Brooks a spot higher, so I'll stick with that after.
So I'm with you on your top two. I like Singleton over Brooks today.
Now, is that because matchup, or what are you going with based on your answer?
So Singleton has just really been the man at linebacker for Philly. He just flies all over the place. He's not the greatest linebacker, but he seems to have his nose around the ball all the time. Jordan Brooks is not the main linebacker in Seattle. He kind of gets the second feeding. So that's the only reason. Again, I have them. To me, you could start either one of them. I think they're very close. I just like Alex Singleton.
How about you, Logan? What's making one a starter, one a bench player for you?
I mean, they're both LB2s in honesty, but I just think Singleton, he's all over the field, but I'm a big fan of Jordan Brooks, and he has been. I'm pretty sure he's played all the snaps alongside Wagner, and they feed into each other. I think he does take a back seat, I guess, to Wagner, but he puts up solid consistent numbers for me, and I just don't love the matchup against the Raiders. I think they can struggle sometimes, and they get 3 and out, and Singleton may not be a chance to get a lot of tackles. So yeah, I don't love the Raiders offense against them, as it's kind of a matchup thing for him. And then the Saints have been running so much because they don't have any receivers, and Brooks and Wagner have just been tackling machines. But like I said, they're 14-15, so.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just you could actually flip a point.
I'm almost trying to find something wrong with them, in that decision. Like you're really digging there, so it's a tough one. But Singleton or Devondre and Warner for me, for sure.
Yeah,
and
I agree. I absolutely agree. Speaking of the Raiders, everybody keep an eye on. Doesn't look like Waller will play. It's going to be a game time decision. Those kind of guys scare me. If they're a game time decision, that means that they might not be out there very much. They might be out there as a decoy, or they go running out and the hamstring tightens up, or the ankle starts hurting a little or swelling, and they're not going to be in the game. So if you have other options, you might want to put those in today.
So out of the linebackers, rookie linebackers, let's be specific about this. Is there either any of them that you're willing to start over another one?
The funny part is, the big rookie linebackers were Parsons, who's out on bye today. Collins, who I don't know if he's even playing today. Davis from Washington, who hasn't done a whole lot. JOK, who is injured now as well. Actually, Parsons and him, JOK seemed to look like the best of the two linebackers right now. And I like Bolton. I just mentioned Bolton. Bolton's starting to be consistent.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Parsons was looking like the best. Collins hasn't got a ton of playing time. Joke was looking good, but then he got hurt. Jamin hasn't done much either. They've got plenty of defense. Cole Holcomb is like a top 10 option, so Jamin's not really doing anything. But I like Nick Bolton. He's really coming into the role. We need linebackers in Kansas City bad. So I was really upset as a Chiefs fan. My dad came down and heard me yelling at the TV when we didn't pick Terrace Marshall. I was so mad. But we needed Bolton, and I think we still needed Marshall. But I'm happy about the pick now. So, but at the time, I was not too happy.
So with the Cowboys starting off one linebacker, does that open up more space for Parsons?
Oh yeah, I think Parsons was looking like he was going to be a weekly starter, even from week one in his linebacker role, and then they had to throw him at the end, and he still was putting up startable numbers, lower but startable. But now that they got their edge rushers back and they got rid of Jalen Smith, I think Parsons is going to be a great option.
Yeah, actually, I think the Cowboys got rid of the wrong linebacker. They should have got rid of Van Der Esch and kept Smith, and they would have had two stud linebackers that they could have done so much with. And it might have been a blessing in disguise that Parsons got to go play a little bit of defensive end, because they can move him all over the field. He is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, he really will be. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him moving forward. Too bad we don't get to see him this week.
Well, and the thing is, Grant, and you're a Cleveland fan, so you get to see it. But I think eventually, and when he comes back and he's healthy, I think you can move. He's got such speed, you can move him all over the field. And I think they really got him. So when they play Baltimore, they have a linebacker just to keep an eye on Jackson.
Yeah, and I think we built the team so when we do see Kansas City in the playoffs again, it could be different.
Yeah, and again, if you talk about, I'm talking Baltimore there with Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I'm talking about, okay, so Kansas City, now you can match it. You can match that guy up with the tight end.
Yeah.
He can match up with Kelsey. Still a tough matchup, but he's got the youth and speed to be able to keep up with a tight end.
And the guy's not afraid to put his nose into anything.
No, he plays 150 miles per hour, and I love seeing that.
So, IDP as IDP. Go ahead, Logan. What'd you say?
Oh, I was gonna say I've got a start sit question, a personal one that we could just see. I've got. It's a rough week, obviously, at injuries and bye. I've got my option is Ayuk or Khalil Herbert, and I'm already playing Allen Robinson and Elijah Mitchell. So I've got two players on both offenses, and they're two guys who I don't like. I love Ayuk, but he's just worrisome to play.
He hasn't done anything. Now it might get better today with Garoppolo being in there because he seems to really like him. I would take you got the running back from Chicago.
Yeah, and I now that Damian Williams is active too, it leans me more away from Herbert. So I've also got Rashad Bateman actually. So it's Rashad Bateman as well as Ayuk. So that kind of
you're kind of rolling the dice on Bateman because you haven't seen the work yet, but man, the potential's there. And every now and then, if it's kind of like one of those what the hecks, I'll take that chance. And like you said, today could be a shootout. If Cincinnati would somehow get up in that game and they just have to start throwing the ball all over the field, Bateman could be a really nice, sneaky sleeper play.
Yeah, he did get 6 targets last week.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, I was putting Bateman in my
I'm kind of, you can ask Grant. I'm a gambler. So it's kind of like the Le'Veon Bell. There's just something there that I watched last week. I like what I was seeing. And he's a bigger back. He can actually do more than Freeman. Freeman's actually gotten more work because I just think because he was more in shape at the time and this and that. They got almost the same amount of carries. So I just think he brings a little more to that offense. So I think it'll be almost a 50-50 split today for those two. And again, I'm really looking forward to that game because there's so many things that can happen in that game. It's going to be exciting.
So as IDP managers, one of our biggest things to try to figure out is the matchup between wide receiver and cornerback. What cornerbacks are you taking based on their matchups this week?
I got to look at mine.
Yeah, I don't have them separate. I got them in defensive backs. So let's see.
Yeah, me too. I don't have them as mainly Grant. In the leagues that I'm in, I'm in one that you have to start corners. I'm a safety guy because I like to have safeties that can they rack up the tackles. Corners, usually I'm taking the corner that's probably the second or third best on the team that I know that the other team's going to throw at a lot because he might get lucky and get an interception, and he's definitely going to get a lot of tackles because even if the guy runs out of bounds or he just pushes him out of bounds, it's a tackle. So I look at corners totally different. You almost don't want a shutdown corner. If you happen to have Diggs from the Cowboys, good for you. But can that continue?
I think I don't know about the interception a game, 1 point something interceptions per game, but I think he's going to be a shutdown corner. And that makes, like you said, Anthony Brown becomes playable because they throw at him and they don't want to throw at Diggs. Someone who I do have, Kenny Moore is usually a top option. And I think he kind of it's the guys who play corner and get some hybrid safety snaps and it leads into more tackles. Logan Ryan, and like Jabril Peppers, those guys kind of bounce around. You want those guys if you can put them in your cornerback spot. They get safety numbers, so that's nice. The two good ones would be Trayvon Diggs and Brown. They're great plays, but they're on bye. Tre'Davious White, he's still – people try to throw away from him, but when you do, you still want to play those guys when they do have matchups like Arizona because D-Hop is – they're going to be matched up, but D-Hop's going to get 10 targets no matter what, no matter who's on him. So if you have pass defended stuff, you might get a few of those. You might get a pick. He'll get tackles. So you want to play those top corners when they have top receivers on them, for sure.
Yeah, if they play in a defense that they're not playing a side, but they play man to man, and they're going to match up against the number one wide receiver, then those guys you want to go after because they're a talent.
And Jalen Ramsey, like, you want a slot corner kind of. They put him in the box a lot, and so if you can find those corners that get the box snaps somehow and get some safety hybrid stuff, those are your top corners for sure.
So let's go ahead and flip this question from cornerbacks to wide receivers. Any wide receivers that you're finding that have a good matchup?
Well, week in and week out, Cooper Kupp. He's got a great matchup against Detroit. They are so banged up in the secondary. Again, you could probably pick. There's a couple corners, and again, I don't have their names in front of me here, and I'm old and I can't remember things. But you could pick a couple of the different corners from Detroit, and they're probably going to have nice tackle numbers today.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams he's my number one. Cooper Kupp's my number two. Deebo Samuel is my number three. And DJ Moore week in and week out, even if Sam Darnold's on or not, he just keeps producing.
Yeah. So I've got DJ Moore at 6 this week, but I've got Kupp and Woods both in my top 10. I think I'm kind of on Stafford going back to the Rams, in that revenge game. I think he's going to try to light it up. I don't think he'll stop throwing the ball today. So
I agree.
I got Woods as a back end RB or wide receiver 1, and Kupp up there in your top 5 wide receiver options. So
I just want to say, for those owners that have Stafford and Kupp paired together in their lineups, what a nightmare for other owners.
Yeah, it's like looking at Mahomes and Hill. A couple of years ago, you're like, God, I got to play Mahomes and Hill. And now it's like, man, I got to play Stafford and Kupp.
Yeah.
Or Rodgers and Adams. They're becoming that.
I have Hill. So
that's a great pair too. So
right.
That Rams offense has really stepped it up with Stafford.
Absolutely. And that's all they were missing. Could you imagine if they had Cam Akers in the backfield? That would be almost unstoppable. It really would.
You would be looking at a Super Bowl team right there.
Speaking of that, if you guys want to touch the running backs, just kind of down my list. Sorry, Logan, but I got Derrick Henry just going off on your Chief.
RB1.
Kamara's going to have a big day against Seattle. Darrell Henderson's going to get his fill of Detroit. And I like Cordell Patterson today. I like him against Miami again because he's gonna get the receptions. If you're in a PPR, he's gonna get the receptions as well.
So Chase Benjamin says, looks like Shepard isn't going to play, so who should I pick up? AJ Green, Bateman, Marquez Callaway, Slayton, or Crowder are his options.
He can only pick up one?
Yeah, because it looks like Shepard will not be playing today.
Boy, AJ Green has been really consistent here lately. He kind of looks like the AJ Green of old, and I realize they just picked up Ertz. They have Hopkins. They got the rookie Moore, but AJ Green is finding his niche on that team, and especially down in the red zone. If I had to pick for this week, I'd go AJ Green. But man, I tell you again, that sneaky play is Bateman for me. How about you, Logan?
Exactly what I was going to say. Green's finding his spot in that offense, and he's a safe play. Should see targets. He's a big guy. He'll get his red zone targets, probably behind Hopkins, but he's one of the better options in the red zone. And I've got him lower 30s ranked, so he's a flex play, like a wide receiver 3, 4, and I've got Bateman a few spots behind him. So I'm with you.
So real quick, I just want to make an announcement to everybody that's watching. If you have any questions about your start sit this week, especially with all the teams on bye and all the injuries, make sure you drop these questions below and we'll get these answered within the next 25 minutes. So with that being said, is there anything else that you guys are really keying in on this week?
Well, as much as I don't care for kickers, you still have to look at kickers as well, because you know what, depending on your scoring, and I play in some leagues where the kickers are scoring way too many points for me. But there's some kickers that have been hurt. There's some kickers that have not been consistent. They're even missing extra points. You got kickers on bye. You've got some new kickers on some new teams. So, Logan, I don't know how much you're up on kickers, but who's a couple of your top picks for today?
Like Justin Tucker is going to always up there with the Ravens, and with the Bengals, like we were saying, shootout. He should be scoring a lot. I think it was Washington that just cut their kicker and picked up the guy Blewett, which is a terrible name for a kicker. But that's they're all over the place. I'm pretty sure. I think Nick Folk should have a good week for the Patriots. He's actually someone that I picked up on a few leagues that have kickers, so I picked him up and played him against the Jets.
So this week I was between Folk and Bullock, and I decided to go with Bullock just because of all the opportunities he's going to have this week against Kansas City.
I've got Bullock ranked ahead of Folk, just a couple spots. I'm liking, of course, the obvious, Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Guy can kick from basically the 50-yard line in.
Is that man even human? I mean,
Plus he can sing opera. Have you heard him sing opera? Jesus, yeah. What can't this guy do? I mean, he's amazing. Another one, I'm liking Mason Crosby today against Washington's defense, because I don't know that Green Bay is going to be able to go up and down on that defense. I know Washington hasn't lived up to their expectation on defense. At some point, that's got to kick in. I don't think Green Bay has that great of an offensive line. So I think that Mason Crosby might get to kick a few deep ones today.
Yeah. I could see the Titans not really having trouble and having to kick a lot of field goals and getting in the end zone a lot. And Bullock, he still might get 7 extra points, and give you a solid day. So
if you're looking at just extra points, I'd say Matt Gay would be the guy that you want to go with the Rams today.
Yeah. So let's talk about that matchup between the Rams and the Lions. Is DeAndre Swift going to be able to score what he's been putting up? Is he going to be able to match that against the Rams?
I think so, because he's the receiving back, and I think they're going to be so far behind. And Goff isn't a guy that can really go down the field, and I think there's going to be a lot of dump offs to Swift today.
Yeah, I think he's too talented to not get him the ball plenty. So like you said, they'll be behind. They'll be thrown to him. He should be just fine.
And I feel like he's their saving grace in most of these games.
Yes, he is about it. I do like the coach. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think he's trying to change the culture there. Just think about it. They lost 2 games that they should have won. Baltimore kicks this 60-some yarder to beat them.
66.
Minnesota ends up kicking one to beat them. So they could easily have 2 wins against 2 quality teams, which would change the whole way that you look at Detroit. And then they turn around and have a couple stinkers. But I like that coach, and I think he's building culture. He gets rid of the veteran linebacker that I just think that I don't know what went on in that locker room, but maybe he just wasn't a good for their locker room. So he moved on. Yeah, they're in trouble. I wish Nate was in here, but we could ask him what's going on in Detroit. Hey Grant, how about the one thing we didn't touch is tight ends very much. If we want to kind of go through our list on tight ends, Logan,
yep.
you got your list up? You want to say who
Yeah,
you like today and don't like?
Yeah, so I had Waller up there as a top. You got to keep him up there. He hasn't been producing, but I was going to hold out hope for one more week. But if he's not playing, it puts Mark Andrews as my tight end 2 this week. Pitts, I'm looking to continue his, build off that last game before the bye. Goddard with Ertz leaving, Goddard should have a great day being opened up. Higbee against the Lions, like we were saying, that offense, everyone on that Rams offense, I'd be playing, every single player. I really hope, like we were saying for the Lions, Swift is their saving grace. I hope Hawkinson can be what we all thought he would be. He's been a disappointment as well. So.
Yeah, I have him. He came through for me big the first week, and then he kind of tailed off. And then, of course, I pick up the tight end from Dallas and played him, he's been consistent. But then Hawkinson ends up having a good week last week. Mm-hmm. I didn't play him the week before because he was dinged up. And so anytime if I have 2 decent tight ends, if somebody's dinged up, I usually try not to play him. I do like him this week, again, because they're going to have to throw so daggone much. They have nothing else there. I think it's going to be Swift and Hawkinson. I agree with you. I got Andrews as my number 3. I got your boy Kelsey as my number 1. I look for him to have a bounce back game.
Anthony
I really like the tight end. I really like the tight end out of Miami right now. He's playing with fire. Tua seems to really like him. And I agree with you with Pitts. I look for Pitts to now. He had his breakout game. They had a week to kind of absorb that and see which ways they can use him. And Miami is a perfect team for him to have another good game against.
All right, so I'm in our subscriber chat. And a couple of the questions here are Tyler Boyd or Alex Collins?
I don't know that. I don't even know that Collins is even going to play today. So Boyd, unfortunately, is the third wheel. But if I had to choose between the 2, I'd have to go Boyd.
All right, and then this one was just in on our subscriber chat, and it's Raymond from the Lions or Boyd. So we're kind of sticking with the Boyd theme here.
Go ahead, Logan.
So it looks like I just looked, and Alex Collins is expected to play tomorrow night, but the Saints are usually a pretty tough matchup. And like we were saying earlier, the Baltimore-Cincinnati game is probably going to be a shootout. So I can see Boyd having himself a bounce back, like a good game like we expect to see out of Tyler Boyd. And then what was the other one? Sorry, Boyd or Raymond?
Yep.
Let me see where I've got Khalif Raymond. I'm going to go Boyd there just because I think the Lions will have to pass, but all their options aren't great. So, I think, like we were saying earlier, Hawkinson and Swift should see the heavy majority usually. So,
yep, I agree. So I was in Pittsburgh Sunday night, and so I was able to sit there and watch Collins. He couldn't finish the game. Rashard Penny is back. So they got Rashard Penny, DJ Dallas, Wharton. They've got a plethora of running backs, and I think they're going to try to get Rashard Penny going. This is make or break whether he is even going to be with the Seahawks, I think, after this year.
So another subscriber question. Isaiah Simmons, Tay Crowder, Patrick Queen, or Jamin Davis?
Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons.
What was the 4, Grant?
Isaiah Simmons, Tay Crowder, Patrick Queen, or Jamin Davis?
Patrick Queen has been somewhat of a disappointment this season. The Cardinals finally figured it out, and they're keeping Simmons on the field this year. So I agree with Logan. I would go with Simmons.
So we have about 15 minutes to go here in our little start sit show that we got going on. Are there any? What's your bold predictions for today? You have one.
Yeah, let me look at the games today. You know what? Let's just go down the list and let's just make our picks. No, not and Grant. You know I love point spreads, but we'll just go straight up. All right, I'll read them off. You guys, Grant, you get in on this too.
All right,
Arizona, Houston,
Arizona, even with the spread.
Arizona, Tennessee, Kansas City.
I have to say Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tennessee.
I think Kansas City, but I have to say it either way. So.
And it's at Tennessee.
I think Mahomes is. I don't think we can afford to lose too many more games, and I think Mahomes knows that. Or this
I'm
early,
going Kansas City in a close one.
But does your defense realize you need to win today's game? Is the question.
I think they will stack the line, and they're going to make Tannehill beat them. Yeah, if you're going to beat me, let's make it a shootout, and Tannehill has to beat me.
I think he proved himself kind of last week that he can do it when he has to.
I would make him do it for 4 quarters because Mahomes can keep up with that.
For sure. Yeah. That's what I hope.
Mahomes can keep up with that. So I would stack that line and say, beat me. Beat me. I don't know that Julio can stay healthy for 4 quarters.
That's true. When you need him the most, he's always on the sideline.
So then take away AJ. So then you take away AJ Brown in the passing game and stack the line. Who else do they have?
Their only other options, Ferkser, who might have a decent game today against our weak pass coverage linebackers. So he's actually probably a pretty good play.
Yeah, that's a sleeper.
I don't think he can beat us. If we got into a shootout and just sold out on Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, he couldn't beat us. But I think, even if we still try to stack the box and really sell out, Derrick Henry's still worrisome. I'm still worried.
I agree. I agree with you. Maybe he'll get the flu or something before the game. I don't know. This one's easy.
One question real quick.
Yeah. Anytime there's questions, just interject, Grant.
Yeah, we got a question here from Marco. Which 2 should I start? H. Landry, Logan Wilson, Corey Littleton, Khalil Mack, or David Long from the Titans?
Go ahead, Logan.
So David Long has been kind of, been out of nowhere almost and been really doing well. But for sure, I think you got to start Logan Wilson. I think he had a down week last week, but he was starting to look like just an elite option. And then I wouldn't play Mack there. He's been dinged up a little bit. I don't love Littleton. Let me see where I've got him on my ranks. Sorry. Littleton, I do have at 26, and David Long, I've got him at 30. So they're right there. I don't love Khalil Mack and Harold Landry. I've got him at 21. So if you can play him at a D-line spot, for sure. But I'm Wilson for sure, and I think Landry.
Yeah, I got to go Wilson, and I know he's dinged. I can never sit Mack. Just because of what he brings to the table. So I'm going to go Wilson and Mack.
All right, so let's get back to the rundown here. We just covered Tennessee, Kansas City.
This one's easy, unless you guys know something that I don't. Houston at Arizona.
Arizona.
We're all taking Arizona.
Yeah, we already covered that one.
New Orleans at Seattle.
That's the Monday night matchup.
Yep. I'm taking the Saints all day.
Yeah, just because they don't have Russell.
Yep.
The Seahawks being at home, could be a little bit of something because Seattle's home field is kind of an advantage. But yeah, the Seahawks.
Saints coming off of a bye.
Yeah. I'm going to go Saints for sure then.
Vegas at the Eagles. That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. I'm going to just take my chances on the Eagles here because I think Jalen Hurts has a good matchup.
I agree. I think I'm going to lean Eagles here.
I'm going Vegas, baby. I'm going Vegas. Their defense, I know Gruden's gone and all that, and it might be the best thing that happened to that team, to tell you the truth. And their defense is nothing they're nothing to slouch at. So, and they've got firepower. So I'm going to stick with Carr, and especially if Waller somehow gets to play, I really like Vegas. I think this is going to be a good one. Atlanta at Miami.
Whew. I think, like you said earlier, Tua's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's got to win. I think he's got to win this game. I think they will. The Falcons got great fantasy options, but they aren't a great team. So
they're not, but they play well when they need to. And they have Callaway back, so that's such a toss up for me. I'm going to go. I'm just because I'm a fan of Patterson. I'm going Atlanta.
I'm going Atlanta. I sometimes think the coaching hurts Miami a little bit. I thought they should have won. I thought the coaching was terrible last week. Atlanta coming off their bye, and they've been in just about every game. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta on this one. Let's see here. Rams Detroit. I don't think we even need to discuss that one.
Is their spread even big enough for that game?
We're taking the Rams. I think this one.
Sorry, Nate.
I know this is an interesting one. Carolina at the Giants. I know it seems obvious to take Carolina, but they're kind of hitting a little skid there in the road.
Yeah, and
it's at New York. Who do you like?
Go ahead, Grant.
I was just going to say, without Christian McCaffrey, that offense is kind of stale, in my opinion, and I want to go New York.
I think the Panthers were starting to look like a pretty solid team, and like you said, they kind of hit a rough patch. I think this is a good matchup for them to bounce back and show that they are who they are. I think they are a pretty good team, and I think I'm gonna go Panthers still.
I like Carolina as well. There's too many weapons gone. No Barkley. They're missing their wide receiver, even their new rookie. The Giants' defense is getting better, but they can't hold in there. I'll take Carolina. Hey, I want to inject something back on Miami. Who do you take in that backfield today?
Yeah.
Nobody if you have the option, but we're probably with injuries and buys, you're probably hurting. Gaskin's got the most upside because we did see that huge game receiving.
But then the next game,
right,
he
disappears.
It was terrible. Yeah,
he's your kind of, if you have a tough opponent that's got Stafford and Kupp, you might need to play him, something like that, because but Ahmed and Brown, I've got both down still at 40 something, so they're side by side. But Gaskin, I do have in the 30s, so.
Yeah, hopefully. It seemed like when Tua came back, Tua doesn't seem to like to use the running back as the safety valve. And when the backups were in, that's where Myles Gaskin seemed to shine. So we'll see if they kind of get back to that, because I think it's very effective for Miami to use the running back. So let's see if after they watch that game a little bit more, I think if they would have checked down to the running back a little bit, I think they would have been in good shape last week. So, I would still take Myles if you could stay away from that backfield. Stay away from it, man, because it's bad. It's a bad situation. All right, here's another. This is gonna be another close game. You got the Patriots at home against the Jets. Who wants to take it first?
Like I was saying earlier, I'm curious how Zach Wilson plays this time around, but I think he will play better, and it will be a little more competitive game. But I think Mac Jones is playing well, and the Patriots are a better team. I think the Patriots still take it, but I think it's a little closer game than last time.
And we got to look at history: rookies versus Bill Belichick, rookie QBs versus Bill Belichick, and it's not good for the rookie quarterback. So I'm going Patriots.
Well, you got 2 rookies going today, and you got the Jets coming off of a bye. Boy, did they look bad, though.
Yeah.
I can't pick the Jets. Sorry. Patriots all the way.
Yeah, Wilson had 19 for 210 and 4 interceptions last time against the Patriots. I think he will improve. I think he'll still throw a couple picks, but he'll probably throw a touchdown at least today. So
yeah, I don't think he can get any worse.
Yeah.
Green Bay at home against Washington.
Green Bay. It's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams right now.
What do you think, Logan?
That's an interesting one because I think I'm kind of looking for a big Antonio Gibson game. I think he might. I think it's hard, like you said, it's hard to go against Rodgers and Adams, and they're at home. So I'm gonna take the Packers, but that's an interesting one. I'm really excited.
So
and like you said earlier, the Washington defense hasn't been great, but they are good. So
no, it's like you just feel like it's getting close, but Gibson's been too dinged up, so I don't trust Gibson. I mean, if you got him, you got to play him.
Right.
I don't trust him right now. So do you want to throw something in there on there, Grant?
Yeah, I was going to say, even in tight situations, Rodgers figures out how to get down the field, just get a field goal to win the game. He proved that against Cincinnati.
I think the key for the Packers today will be the running game with Aaron Jones and Dillon. This is an interesting game. The Colts at the 49ers.
Yeah. My friend actually messaged me about asking which one he should bet on, and it just stumped me for a little while.
What's the line at right now?
I'm not sure what the line was. Let me see if he said it. He didn't say it for that one, but I told him to stay away from betting on it. So I think I'm going to go Colts just because I think Jonathan Taylor continues to play well. I know the 49ers are good defense, but I think Jonathan Taylor is going to light it up again and keep them ahead. I'm going to go Colts.
Grant?
I got it. I got to agree with this one.
Yep. Colts as well. San Francisco coming off the bye at home, but Garoppolo just now getting back. They keep shuffling running backs in and out in San Francisco. Kittle, I don't even think is playing again today. I think he's out, right?
He went IR.
Yeah, he's on IR, so he's not even back yet. And Indy seems to be finding their stride. Wentz is starting to settle in. It's a shame that T.Y. Hilton's not going to be playing today, but and Paris Campbell, so they're kind of down a little bit. But I still think they have enough to get past San Francisco. To me, the game of the day, Baltimore-Cincinnati. Who you guys like?
It hurts me to say it.
At Cincy.
I'm going Baltimore. Hurts me to say it, but as a Browns fan, I need Cincinnati to pull something out.
Man, I think I'm going to go ahead and lean the Ravens just because when it gets down to it, Lamar's better than Burrow in that pressure. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Cincinnati can hang offensively. I just think in the end it's too good of a field goal kicker and too good of a scrambling, running around quarterback. And I think Bateman could end up being the X factor in this game. And
I'm very interested to see how Cincinnati's O-line protects Burrow today.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, we got 1 minute, and let's see here. I think I got one more game. Chicago at Tampa Bay.
I'm going to go with the GOAT in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. Justin Fields is going to have a tough day today. I think, and again, they had a week off. Look out.
Like I said, the Devon White, this could be his week he could pull some sacks on Fields, and he could have a monster tackling day if Fields decides to start scrambling, because we know White can run him down. That's for sure. So.
Yeah. So,
and they might have to have the stretcher ready.
Yeah. So with that being said, our 1 hour is up. So can you just tell us how our followers can follow you guys, or how to find you guys online? Twitter for the old man. Got one of those?
I do. You're better off to just catch me on the IDP guys website and Facebook page. You can get a hold of me personally on Facebook. But yeah, I'm not. I'm the old guy. I'm not a big Instagram. I'm not a big Twitter guy. I'm old school.
How about you, Logan?
Yeah, my Twitter handle is @SportsTalkSmart. You can always. I try to answer as many questions as I can. It's in the subscriber chat. You can feel free to @ me or DM me. I'll always answer. I can usually answer them pretty quick too. It's between 11 and noon as well. I'll be watching. So send your questions in on the chats and on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, you can find me at Grant_Gillen on Twitter. You can also find my work on YouTube. I'm doing all the video editing. So with that being said, please like and subscribe. Share this with all your friends before the 1 o'clock slate. And then we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Thanks. Have a great Sunday and Monday of football.
Yep. Good luck, everybody.
See ya.